Alright, so, hey people, it's your host Keepster, co-host Kasumi. So, with the release of Persona 5 Royal for multiple platforms tomorrow, um, I thought I'd bring this certain topic that newer players that are gonna possibly try out well, obviously Persona 5 for the first time, potentially, but all more importantly, the people that are getting into Persona. But for this particular talk, is more or less is going to be a bare bones, sort of just digestible, talkative guide on how to kind of properly consider some things to consider when getting it playing through Persona 5 Royal. And the main reason why I want to make this guide is because, well, number one, other people have made these guys sort of like 2 years ago. I figured like I put in my own 2 cents on what to expect in terms of playing Royal, and it'll be pretty much a good idea. So it'll be off the cuff, like I'm gonna say a tip, and then Kasumi's gonna say her tip, and then I will say another tip, and then we'll basically just bounce off each other in terms of like what to consider. And it'll probably be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, however long it takes, but it's gonna be like straight to the point. So I'm gonna be playing like like a recent backlog on my Twitch stream. So if you wanna catch all things my New Game Plus playthrough of Persona 5 Royal, New Game Plus, that's where you would find this, and I would upload the VOD of Royal either the very next day or like a few hours after whenever I finish streaming. So all things Persona 5 Royal is gonna be the main focus on my streams, and then afterwards I'll be going back to my backlog. But let's just get into it. So the very first tip I would say for Royal specifically is the main thing is um, basically make sure that you get these well, I'm going to say social links. Sometimes I'll switch between social links and confidants. Get these 3 confidants maxed out. And that's Kasumi Yoshizawa, the new girl, exclusively for Persona 5 Royal. Um, Goro Akechi, which if you play the vanilla Persona 5, he was an automatic confidant. He is not an automatic confidant in Persona 5 Royal this time around. And Dr. Maruki, who is the counselor in Persona 5 Royal. So, if you do not, technically, you don't have to max out Kasumi or even Akechi if you don't want to. But if you don't max out Maruki by, let's just give or take, by the time you get to Shido's Palace or by close to the end of summer or somewhere, like November-ish basically in the game, then you'll be locked out of the third semester. So it's very important that you, at the very least, get Maruki maxed out. Get Kasumi maxed out if you want a romancer, hello. And Akechi if you want to get... That's going to go and touch into the true ending of Royal. So that's what I'm going to say with the first tip. Do you have anything for a second tip, Kasumi?
I haven't played the game yet, so I guess explore everywhere.
Yeah, just go off based on what you know on vanilla, at least, because it's still a lot of what you know on vanilla kind of still applies with Royal. So
Just explore everywhere. Because from what I know, there's a lot of good items around this time. With Royal compared to vanilla.
yeah, and I want to add to that is, unlike in vanilla, Mementos is not a chore. So when you have the opportunity, definitely get your Mementos requests done, definitely explore Mementos and take advantage of like these flower like petals that you'll pick up for Jose. And also, this is not necessarily required, but it's definitely gonna help or give you something to do while you're palace exploring. Try to collect all the will seeds if you can do it, because that's gonna give you some
Yeah.
extra abilities that you can equip to your party members. Most of the time, I equip them to Joker, but if you collect most of them, some of them don't really add that much to it, depending on what you equip. But some of them kind of do help. But it's just a good habit to collect these items as you explore through the palaces, and also when you encounter Jose, he's gonna transfer that into like a special ring that you can equip to any of your party members. So that is another helpful thing. Do you have another tip that you want to talk about?
Not really. Uh,
Well, as you explore through the game, naturally you're gonna be um, getting quite a bit of personas as you explore. So get used to the idea of sacrificing your persona parties in your inventory, or specifically whatever you have in Joker's stock, because you're most likely not going to keep them the same time every time unless you go through New Game Plus and you get like your desired team that you want. Then most likely you're going to just screw around a bit. But if you're doing this for the first time, get used to the idea of not keeping the same personas in your stock every time.
yeah. Um. Just enjoy the story too.
Yep. Also, on that same note, make sure you max out your social stats. Make sure you also get, on the topic of compendium, confidants, max out as many confidants as you can on your first playthrough, because this time around you have plenty of time to do it. Um, on top of the ones that you need to get to the third semester, there's other ones that can help you throughout battle that helps Joker out. And also, by maxing out each confidant, you get access to really powerful personas that you can make later on in the compendium, which I would also recommend if you have no idea on how to do about it. If you want a very specific way to do it, use a recipe guide, or in my case, in this time around, use friends that know what the fuck to look for to help narrow down the persona flow trees on what you want, to then help you get the high level persona that you really want later on in the game. Which also means, if you can, max out the twin confidants too, because that's going to help out the process even better.
Yeah.
Um, so do you have any? Uh, okay, let me just ask this: do you have any, besides the ones that you need? Do you have any recommendations on confidants to max out?
Um. Teacher. She's good for after Mementos. When you get her maxed out.
So yeah,
Uh.
she gives you a massage, and you could do something at nighttime.
Yeah.
Doctor and the
Dr.
weapon
Akemi
specialist,
and
Iowa
EY.
or whatever his
EY.
name is.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
so why
and
they're important?
because you'll get discounts and better weapons
Okay.
and better medicine.
I think there's another one you didn't mention.
But from the
The politician dude, I'd say he's also helpful because it's like you get to even recruit, like, say, like, there's personas that are higher than Joker. You can just recruit him without hesitation with the politician's social link.
Oh, that's with the politician.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
There's also, I guess, if it's useful or not. There's also like the journalist, Oya, I believe her name was. Even though not a lot of people like her, in the vanilla, she was helpful because if you max her out far enough, you can reduce like the palace alarm system. But that's not really a factor in Royal, by the way. I'm just letting you guys know right now. So you don't have to really worry about that as much, but it does help a little bit for the less encounter rates and stuff. There's loads of things you can do. So then this goes to my last tip for this game. Take your time. It's in the load. It's. They say it a lot in the loading screen. I would say also take advantage of going to like the jazz club, the church. There's like loads of things you can do to just rank up your party members, rank up the social links or confidants that you want to like do. So much you can cover that there's not enough time for this video to just go over. So those are just basically some tips you might want to think about in terms of Royal. And any last thoughts before we close off?
Um, uh, I have no idea because I haven't played it yet. I'll be getting it tonight, hopefully.
Yeah,
Um,
but
I
the general rule of any Persona game is just do as much as you can on your first playthrough. You're not going to get through everything on the first playthrough, most likely, even though there's a lot of time that you can spend to get a lot of stuff done.
yeah, a second playthrough would be fine as well, even though this is a long game.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So if you're like those achievement hunter people, uh, it took me a couple years or even a second playthrough to get a lot of my trophies unlocked. So it is absolutely okay if you're gonna use multiple playthroughs to get whatever you didn't get on the first playthrough done. So that's another thing to consider. Anyways, this is Yumo's Keys to on Dirty Demons. Um, do you want to say goodbye, call hi to the people?
Bye.
All right, take care and have a good night.
Been a little while, but I'm still battling. Moving fast while you just prattling. No time for me, no tangling. Hit you in the spot with no angling. A lot of anger